First antenna comparison with Whisper. Is a Groundplane or Endfed half-wave the better DX antenna? Hi, I have tested two antennas the first time. A real test, no theory. I have used the setup which I have presented in my last video. It was a Groundplane antenna on the table of my terrace, the Challegence MA12 with a coil for the 40-meter band, and the Endfed half-wave on a fiberglass mast mounted on the railing of the terrace with a wire of 20 meters, or roundabout 20 meters. So a real half-wave on the 40-meter band in an inverted L configuration. I think that is important. The core was an FT240-43 with a 1:49 transformation. I tried to set both QDX devices to 1 watt output power. Both devices sent at the same time. The cable between both antennas and both devices were exactly 5 meters longer. My first test was on the 20-meter band for 90 minutes. And here are the results. On the 20-meter band, 101 stations received my signal with the Endfed antenna in an inverted L config. 97 stations received my signal with the Groundplane antenna. I made a diagram from left to right. You see the distance, and from the top to the bottom the signal to noise ratio. You see, with the Endfed my signal reports were stronger, but between 1800 kilometers and 3000 kilometers I was getting some better reports with the Groundplane antenna. At least more DX stations with a distance of more than 2000 kilometers received my signal with the Endfed antenna. On the map you see the direction of the antennas. They are very similar. So it seems that in the direction of Great Britain both antennas work fine. Or maybe the half leg of my dipole, which is not so far away, works a little bit like an additional director. It was really cool that I was heard in Antarctica and at the Neumeier station with just 1 watt power. So on the 20-meter band the Endfed is a little bit better. On the 40-meter band the results change a little bit. More stations received my signal with the Groundplane antenna with a simple small coil. Exactly 104 stations received my signal with the Groundplane. 97 stations received my signal with the Endfed half-wave as an inverted L. That really surprised me. Here you see the diagram for the 40-meter band. I can't really see any trend. Sometimes the Endfed antenna is better and sometimes the Groundplane antenna gets a better report. Very near stations heard me better on the Endfed antenna. Then the Groundplane seems to be a little better between 1200 kilometers and 2000 kilometers. That surprised me so much that I have changed the transceivers 1 week later and I repeated the test on the 40-meter band again. It is really hard to set the same output power, but a difference of 50 milliwatts should not make such a change. After 90 minutes in Whisper, I checked the results again. And here's the diagram. With the first antenna now, it was the Groundplane antenna with 63 stations received my signal. With the second antenna, the Endfed antenna, 59 stations received my signal. So more stations received my signal still with the Groundplane antenna. On the chart we see more contacts which are really far away were made with the Groundplane. In general, the Groundplane signals were nearly always weaker, especially in a distance of 1100 kilometers. The signal reports with the Endfed were really good and the signal to noise ratio higher than with the Groundplane. Maybe some reports between 600 and 800 kilometers were better on the Endfed. On the map, the same result. Maybe some more stations at the east coast of America received my signal with the Groundplane antenna, but that's it. So let us come to the conclusion. The Groundplane is a DX antenna and very competitive. Maybe because of the coil we get weaker reports. but we get still more DX reports. The Endfed antenna gets stronger signal reports, especially from nearer European stations. But the second part of the L is too low, so it does not work so good as a DX antenna, like the Groundplane. More tests with more radials and other antennas will follow. Do not forget to subscribe my channel if you want to know the results. 73, your Delta Charlie 3 Tango Bravo.